Hello and welcome to the weekend roundup of all the Premier League football games just gone from this weekend, and we've got a lot of talking points to begin with. It's been a really weird weekend, some really weird results, and I thought I'd brief you with some of the results. The camera's not working today, so we're using the no camera function. This is more of a podcast, so you can't see me. And I hope you're all staying safe and keeping well and enjoying the content. Sorry, we haven't uploaded for a while. I've been busy doing some things, but we're back in. Although we're in lockdown in the UK, so life's not really the best. But got to persevere. Got to just try and ignore the fact that you have to stay at home and just do it until you don't have to do it, and it's not compulsory. But anyways, enough going on about political rubbish. This channel is not meant for political rubbish. It's meant for sport rubbish. So this weekend has been absolutely crazy. I cannot believe this weekend. Generally, if you asked me to do a predictions video for all the games, I wouldn't have guessed the results that have happened. Well, it started really weird at lunchtime on Saturday, so yesterday, 30th of January. Tottenham, no, I'm joking, Tottenham played just now. Everton actually hosted Newcastle at Goodison Park, and I actually thought the first half was absolutely dire. I watched the whole game. The first half was absolutely dire, and I was so close to turning it off. I just persevered and just went to myself, no, we're not turning this off, because with that game, I knew something could come out of nowhere and a goal would come out of nowhere, and it did eventually, obviously. As you all know, if you've watched the game, there was 2 goals from Callum Wilson, a 73rd minute goal from him, and then he scored like a minute before the end, so 93rd minute. He scored, the first goal was great, a nice glancing header. Can't remember what the second one was, but I remember the first one was a great, because it was the goal to split up the sides, and that I felt was really crucial, because the game actually was 0-0. Until that moment. So, and Everton were the favourites, and Steve Bruce is under the most immense pressure. Like, the guy is under so much pressure. I generally can't remember a manager under this much pressure for a while. Even like when Bilic got sacked, he wasn't under that much pressure, because the squad's not really that great. Like, even baggage fans would say their squad's not really like a lower end Premier League side. It's like more of like a top end Championship side team. So I was really mad that Steve Bruce has been under all of this, because of the fact that how mad it's been for him, because of the fact that players aren't been performing. Mike Ashley spent a lot of money on players in the club. He's just splashed the cash although he has been accused of not splashing the cash. At this time, he actually has splashed the cash in recent years. So I feel like Steve Bruce is under immense pressure. The fans don't want him there, and he knows that, because he's seen it within his eyes, his pair of eyes, and he knows that he's not really wanted, and they'd prefer to get like someone like a Rafael Benitez back, or someone that was loved when they were at Newcastle, anyone like the Rafael Benitez caliber. But yeah, so Steve Bruce had to win that one, I think, or he was so close to he was on the brink of getting sacked. Although Mike Ashley would say, "Oh, I'm going to back him," I don't think he was going to get backed. So that was into that. So Newcastle beat Everton, which was a bit of a shock. Just kick off the weekend on Saturday at lunchtime. Well, in the UK it was lunchtime, wherever you're watching from. Then was the Palace game. Eze scored to split the sides. Wolves are in a really bit of a crap situation, because they've been underperforming with the amount of money their owners have spent. They've been underperforming hugely. They spent so much money, invested in that club so much, and they've just Nuno's just let the board down. The players have let Nuno down, who've let the board down, and it's all going wrong for Nuno. Because personally, I think that the fact that they've signed Willian Jose, they've signed Fabio Silva, they've signed a couple of midfield or centre backs. They signed. They've got enforcement. They've recalled Catrone or someone like that. Oh my god, Wolves are in a bit of a mess. They need to get out of it soon, because I feel like if they get relegated, I don't really see them coming up straight away. I feel like they'll be down there for quite a while. So that was a bit of a shock. Eze scored a great goal, which split the sides up at Selhurst Park. So Palace won. Very proud of Palace. If you are here, remember to do this. Jose Mourinho. Oh, we got some comments coming up. I wonder how everyone's doing. I need to ask you how we're all doing. Jose Mourinho could go to Bundesliga to get some German cred. And he says also, Thomas Tuchel is a manager god. I wouldn't go that far as a god, right? there's better ways you can describe him. I won't go as far as that, like that level of greatness. Probably go as far as decent manager. Decent. He can do a job. Personally, I think Thomas Tuchel, he will perform with Chelsea. He will get Chelsea top 4 or top 5 even. Roman will give him another year, and next year will be the year he'll assess him properly because we've done over halfway through the season. You got to remember, Thomas Tuchel, he needs to start the season off. Pre-season where you kick off, you learn, you go with the players, you trial out different systems because you're playing pre-season. So I think when you start from the start of the season with a new manager, it's much more important, and it's easier for the manager to succeed more if he starts from the start of the season. So we need to, I don't support Chelsea, but they need to. Don't I say we? They need to properly assess Thomas Tuchel from like June, July when they're like playing the preseason, and start from as soon as preseason's finished. First game when the fixture comes out for the first game, you've got to start assessing him from there. As Roman will say to Thomas straight away, get as high as possible because Frank's kind of left them in a bit of a mess. Get them as high as possible. Get Havertz and Werner playing to their best, and you'll just see how it goes because they could easily beat that Spurs team on Thursday. I think that game's massive. Although Thomas isn't under the pressure he would ideally want to be yet, but that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. So enough about Thomas Tuchel. We haven't got up to that bit yet, but thank you for your comment, mate. Hope you're having a great day. Like and share and subscribe. Thank you very much. Oh God, I'm tired. Anyways, moving on swiftly. I've got other things to talk about. So we're talking about the Palace game. Yeah, so Palace won that. Nothing really to talk about, I would say. You got the assist. Nothing really happened. I'll show you my fantasy Premier League after. Then we move on to City. Preeminent City. I said that because it's kind of like it's alliteration. So City, personally, I think they'll win the league, right? I said it from the start. There's evidence on YouTube. I've said it. City were going to win the league. I didn't back the Liverpool movement. People going, "Oh, Liverpool going to win the league. Liverpool going to win the league." No, I don't back that. So I'm going to go and explain what I think about the City performance. I think it was a very dry performance from City. Although they kick-started the game very well, very, very well. They put Sheffield under loads of pressure, lots of ball possession, lots of flicking, flowing play, lots of expansive possession base like they always do football. Sheffield grew into the game near the end. They never really got going, I don't think. I mean, they played some nice little football. They played some nice bit of football. Thank you, mate. If you can share the video, that'd be brilliant. If you can get it going on Twitter or something, brilliant. Because this is a great chat, lads or ladies or whatever you are. As I was saying with City, they Sheffield never really got going in the game. I feel like at the end, Ollie Burke hit a lovely shot that just went wide. They never really started playing, which, in my opinion, Sheffield never really played properly. Anyway, they never really play with the ball on the floor a lot. Anyway, it's more of a set piece type team. Like they score a lot of goals from set pieces. They cause a bit of trouble, like you saw against Manchester United midweek. They were bundling the hair over. Like they're the proper physical blowing team. Like they'll cause some issues to sides. Like they're a thorn in the the testicle, really. They're really, really, really annoying to play against. Although they've lost loads of games this season, but when they lose very narrowly. They'll lose with a bit of fight and a bit of belief, right? That's how I see Sheffield. City never really were at their heights that game. I don't feel like they caused much trouble, right? They never really. I just didn't think they played their best. So they did well enough. They did well enough. I'll give them that. I just don't think they were at their best. So yeah. With the thing with City, what I think with City is they have the ability to beat any team by more than however many goals Pep sets out. They can literally go and beat like a really world-class team, like 2 or 3-0 or 2-1 or whatever. They have great players. They have great depth, great manager, great backing. The board always back the manager or every single transfer window, regardless COVID-19, no COVID-19, no pandemic, a pandemic. Got great players. Although the one position I do think City need to strengthen in is striker. Jesus is not good enough. I don't think. That's my opinion. Jesus isn't good enough. I feel like with Jesus is he can grab goals, right? But he can go on a drought that is not good enough. Like a drought that's like 3 months long with no goals. But with the City team, they can get goals from their fullbacks, their midfielders, their strikers, their wingers. Who knows? That even Ederson, the goalkeeper, might score one week. You don't know. It could happen. I'm not saying it will, but it might. You never know. He could score a goal from a corner. You know, when they're losing in the last minute, you don't know. The thing is with City, you just don't know. It could be. But what I'm trying to say is, goals don't come from a certain position in the club, which I think is great. So what it does is it shows a bit of discreetness. It shows a bit of they just hide the fact that the goals might not always come from the same player. Like with Spurs, Harry can imagine not Spurs. That's not a good point. Spurs now, Son and Kane do it they differentiate, but with other teams like, who is it? Let's just say Arsenal last season. Aubameyang was scoring every single goal. Like, if he didn't play in that football club, I think they would have got relegated. And I'm not even joking. I think they would have got relegated. Or maybe even this season when they were in their really bad form. I think they would have got relegated. I'm not even joking. Generally, they only had one good player. And their defence with City, their defence is unbelievable. I don't swear, but their defence is just so reassuring. It's so stable. It's got loads of belief and fight. That defence is brilliant. John Stones and Ruben Diaz are world-class centre-backs. I never thought I'd say John Stones is world-class, but I feel like he's world-class. He could easily get City to that title this season with his impact and his absolute brilliance and saviours at the back. Like the things he does, the headers he wins, the duels he wins, the 50-50s, the ball playing possession he uses, Pep, to enforce City week in, week out. I think it's unbelievable, especially with John Stones. He had a really rough stage moving from the Toffees for 50 million to City. Obviously, if you get a big price tag like Nicolas Pepe, Harry Maguire, whoever, you're under so much pressure. Personally, you don't pick the price, but with the price, it gives you more pressure, and you have more pressure to succeed, and more pressure is there when you make that. As soon as you make that move, you're under huge pressure. So with City, they're just playing unbelievable. Even like Kyle Walker, I haven't seen that guy for ages. See if COVID is injured, I don't even know. But they've got Cancelo, they've got Zinchenko, they've got Benjamin Mendy, they've got, who else they got? I don't even know, but they've still got depth. That's the fact, is they got depth. Right, should Man City get Erling Haaland? We're talking about Man City. I think if Man City got Erling Haaland, I think although they do bottle it a lot in the chat, I do think they'll win the Champions League, the Premier League, and the FA Cup or Carabao Cup in that season. So they'll win like a treble. So I think City are an unbelievable team. I called this from the start. I knew City with the investment they did and the money they've used on the club and the plan they've had from the beginning. I knew they'd do it. I knew it. There's evidence online, so if you don't believe me, don't believe me. I believe it. Yeah, so how are we all doing? Right. Other things to talk about. Yes, the City won. Then at the same time was the final 3 o'clock kickoff, and that was what's it called? It was the oh, sorry, my back's hurting. West Brom Fulham. It was like the 6-pointer relegation battle. It was West Brom Fulham. So Sam Allardyce versus Scotty Parker. With this one, Fulham started the game unbelievable. This was on free to air TV, actually, funny enough, this game in the UK. What was I saying? Hold on, just stretching out. So Fulham not kickstart. I keep saying that they began the game with a lot of determinism, and they had a lot of great feeling about the game. I felt like they were motivated before the game very well, which is key. It's good work from the manager, that shows. They started the game. The weather was bloody awful. I remember it was freezing up there. And West Brom were causing all sorts of chaos. No, Fulham, sorry, were causing all sorts of chaos. They scored in the 10th minute with Bobby Decker or Dover Reed. He's a great player. And they went 1-0 up. Fulham, West Brom were under so much pressure. It easily could have been 2-3-0 Fulham. But West Brom dug in deep and they nullified them, defended very well, and really showed a lot of character in the defence, mainly. Yeah. And then the game was 1-0 half time. Big Sam looked a bit worried. I don't blame him. They were really playing really, really poor. The actual attackers. And basically, Bartley scored after 2 minutes in the second half. Bartley scored. It was a great play from Matheus Pereira. I think he put a great ball in. It just got deflected, but it did hit Bartley, who smashed it top right past Areola. 1-1. Then Fulham literally got so scared they conceded again to Matheus Pereira. It was a great finish from the right hand side, past Areola again. Sorry, I'm losing my breath. And then Ivan Cavallero with about 13 odd minutes left, something like that, 14 minutes left, scored an equaliser, and the game just ended 2-2. I feel like West Brom predominantly were the better side, but it was very, very 50-50. But at times, Fulham were cranking on loads of pressure. Hold on. West Brom were cranking on loads of pressure. Fulham were cranking on loads of pressure. It got really, 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 really 50-50. Like it was a game of 2 halves. And I feel like Fulham, especially at the start, probably should have ended it within the first half an hour, 40 minutes. West Brom took that opportunity, seized it, went ahead. I feel like they should have held on, but they didn't. And a point probably isn't a good result for any of them. It was like a must-win that game. Because if you're a bottom club, you have to win the bottom games, the games at the bottom, because you know they're the easiest and the biggest, regardless. And then was the stalemate of the weekend. United Arsenal. I put it in the wrong way around, but that's irrelevant. United Arsenal was absolutely awful, right? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer set up too safe. Mikel Arteta set up not all out, but he did what he could with the players he had. So, for example, Aubameyang was out because of family issues with his mum. Saka was injured last minute because of his hip, apparently. Odegaard was on the bench. Tierney was injured, and Tierney's their best left back. I don't really rate anybody else in that club that plays at left back, and they put Cedric at left back. So, personally, I think that Arsenal did the best lineup they can physically field, right? Without Paul Odegaard, obviously, because he just signed. So basically, I feel like Arsenal did well for what they could. And both teams had 50-50. I'd say both teams had great opportunities to score and really put a bit of. No, do you know what they both could have done? They both put a statement to where they are as a club, because Man United lost to bloody Sheffield United midweek. Arsenal beat Southampton. So if Arsenal won, it would have been brilliant because they would have won 2 massive games in a row. If Man United won, it would have showed that they're back in the title race and that they're willing to show they're serious in it. In fact, they didn't do that, and they weren't good enough. So that Man United game, Man United Arsenal, was really, I feel like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer played it too safe. Playing McTominay and Fred, I would have gone all out. Play one CDM, just play Matic or something, or one McTominay. If he's not good enough there, you can just switch it out at half time. If you're losing, bring on more attackers. Bring on Martial. Cavani wasn't good enough, in my opinion. He did some good things, but wasn't good enough. Lacazette was good, but he was kind of, in the second half, he got injured so much, and he was diving around the floor, and I feel like he was being too immature, right? I hate when players just be really immature. And what he was doing was, he was making a meal out of every foul he got, like, because he was getting fouled by Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, Pogba, like he was getting fouled by everyone. And the amount of minutes he wasted by lying on the floor, I feel like Arsenal could have got a goal in the minutes he just wasted, because they only had 3 minutes on at the end. Because I feel like the rest were like, it'd be unfair to add 7 minutes on. They only added 3 minutes on. The game was boring. Nothing really happened. Man U was just edged as the better team, but Arsenal created the better chances. Maybe it was a bit 50-50 actually. Lacazette skimmed the crossbar from a free kick. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, as we're nearly finished. We're not far. I'll end another 10-15 minutes. So that game ended 0-0, and it was crap. I feel like Bruno Fernandes could have maybe got a yellow card or got sent off. He did a high stud challenge on Xhaka or Cedric. Xhaka, I think it was. That could have been VAR reviewed and could have been a red, but it was so early in the game I didn't think they were going to send him off. Anyways, he's so influential anyway. He's a brilliant player. The last game was the 8 o'clock game, and that was the Southampton game. Basically, Southampton just Villa went down to St Mary's and just won, really. I mean, Ings Barkley scored a header in the first half just before the break. Danny Ings scored in the 93rd minute, but got ruled out for like literally a millimetre being offside. So that ended 1-0 Villa. Very close though. I feel like Southampton got hard done by. That was a great game. Great game of football, that was. It turned into a really good game. Like, Grealish playing really, really well. He always does, to be honest. Right, today, the Sunday games. Chelsea-Burnley was the midday game. Chelsea won 2-0. I think that's a really good statement from Thomas Tuchel, because with Tuchel, I feel like, I've said it, I was talking about it before, I feel like he needs to get to know the players. he needs to work out the best formation. He was trying a back five today or something, because I saw Callum Hudson-Odoi was out on the fullback. You know what I mean, like a wing back. I think he played very well there. Callum Hudson-Odoi created a goal. Played really well, made some good runs, made some good passes. Just looked really dangerous, really. That's what you want in a wing back, because wing backs go up and down. They're meant to cause havoc for defenders and the opposition, but that's the whole point of them. And they give cover to the centre backs. So yeah, if your fullback's playing well, you know the team playing well. As I was saying, Azpilicueta scored the first goal under the Tuchel regime, as their first game with him was 0-0 with Wolves. Just before half time, and then just before the end, Alonso scored, who hasn't played for ages. I don't know how when the last game was he played, but he scored a bloody brilliant goal. The skill he did, if you go and watch on YouTube, the skill he did, oh my god, then flicked it top bins in close range, brilliant. For a left back, that's unbelievable. Yeah, so it was great fun to see Tuchel getting the best out of the players, although they didn't win like 3 or 4-0. 2-0 still good enough. Pulisic and Hudson-Odoi got assists. If you are here, I hate saying this, but please. Right. Next game was where is it? Leeds turn over the Foxes. That performance from Leeds was unbelievable, right? Leicester went 1-0 up, 30 minutes in, Harvey Barnes. 2 minutes later, Stuart Dallas equalised. Then, great goals, unbelievable goals. Then, Leeds were playing their football. Leicester were knocking him out. They didn't really create that much, but Leeds, it was a very even game in the second half. 70 minutes comes. Leicester mistake. Leeds counter on it. The ball's played to Bamford from, I think, Phillips or someone. Bamford's on a tight angle and smashes it from the outside of the left side of the box to the top right corner of the Kasper Schmeichel's goal. And Leicester are 2-1 down to Leeds. Then, right, I want to. No one said this on social media, so I'm going to point this out here on the stream. I'm going to go and point this out on. I'm going to find you the video. I might get copyrighted. Might be. I'll show you. Hold on. Let me show you the Leicester what Maddison does here. I'll play the video. Is copyright and all that rubbish, but I will share screen and show you what Mr. Maddison does. It was unbelievable. Right. Let's share screen. Chrome tab. Right, can you all see this? Right, so basically, ignore the videos on the side. I like to watch a bit of Mark Goldbridge and Gary Neville, just ignore that. Right, so basically, if you see, James Maddison has encouraged the player to take cover on the halfway line to prevent a counter-attack. He's brought him forward, James Justin, to put an extra man in the box, right? So he's basically, what he's done is he's shot himself in the foot, because when you remove the cover that you have at the back, you are so vulnerable to anybody counter-attacking, no matter if it's the centre-back sprinting up the pitch and scoring, or it's the striker, which was Bamford. He told Justin to come in the box to help to score a goal, because they were 2-1 down with literally like 7 minutes left, or let's have a look, how many minutes left? With 6 minutes left. And what happened was Bamford, no, they blocked the ball now, look. Put this ball in. And then what happens is they head it out and they run down the other end, and Bamford's sprinting one-on-one, and he squares it to Philip. No, not Phillips. What's his face? Harrison. And Harrison taps it in for an open goal and to win it, to end it 3-1. And I think it's Maddison's fault. He's not the manager. He should be encouraging the cover to come up for the free to set piece. Although Maddison's wicked at crosses and set pieces, if not one of the best in the world, personally, I think. He's to take blame for absolute hideous actions. So that cost him all 3 points. Hope you enjoyed that bit. Then, after that, we had the game of the weekend, right? We had the game of the weekend. I'm joking. Liverpool versus West Ham. West Ham versus Liverpool at London Stadium. Personally, I was backing West Ham. Not I was cheering them on. I was backing them to win. I thought they were going to win. Liverpool proved me wrong. 3 unbelievable goals from Liverpool, and one at the end by West Ham that was really irrelevant because it's a consolation and they were never going to win. But the way that Liverpool scored the goals was so good. I cannot explain to you. They were also fantastic pieces of play, and the finishes were sublime. So yeah, that meant that Liverpool won 3-1. Jurgen Klopp did brilliantly. Man management, set out the team well. Shaqiri was good, and I didn't think he would be. Origi really let me down again. Origi's useless. Argue, comment, whatever. Origi is useless, and I won't tell you other until he proves to me he's not useless. Apart from that Champions League final goal off the bench, I couldn't care less. He's been useless since. I mean, he's scored a few goals, but doesn't mean he's a good player. Then was the last game, the 7:15 game, which was Spurs versus Brighton, or Brighton versus Spurs. I always said in the wrong order. This is the real big one. Will Spurs fans turn on Mourinho? Are Spurs playing for the gaffer? Are Spurs fans Jose in or out, or shake it all about? I want to know anyone's opinion. If you support Spurs, if you hate Spurs, I want to know what you think of how Spurs are playing, what they should do to counter the fact that they're losing so many games. Their form is trash, absolutely trash in the Premier League. They might have got to a cup final, but that doesn't mean crap. Cup finals are all luck. If you get there, you could have an easy run, you could have a hard run. We don't know, but that's not the point. The league form is diabolical. So, as I was saying, what they need to do is they need to find where they're going wrong. Kane's injured, but you can't do anything about that. He'll be back in a few weeks. You've got to move on. And anyway, if you're relying on him, that means you're a one-man team. So you should be able to play without him. Brighton scored early with Gross, was it? Trossard. Gross got the assist. Brighton played really well. They defended really, really well. Spurs didn't look at 1 minute in that football game. Did Spurs look like they were going to score? They were absolutely useless. Toby Alderweireld did a goal line clearance because Brighton nearly scored. Toby did brilliantly. Toby Alderweireld was the best player on the pitch, in my opinion. He was so flipping good. Everything he did, from defending to helping the attackers to help the play flow more, brilliant, unbelievable. I think he's one of the best player on the pitch. What do we make of Jose Mourinho? Jose, right, this lad says, Jose loses supporters after 18 months. Anyway, you are very correct. Mourinho is the man to fall out with. Like, he encourages people to fall out with him. Whether you know him personally or you know him from just being a manager in Premier League football, you won't like him after a certain period of time. You are 100% correct, mate. He's done it at Chelsea. And he's done it even more to Chelsea because he's gone to Spurs. That's the fact. And even Man United, to an extent. 2 reigns at Chelsea, both sacked. Man United, he didn't even win the league. And he normally wins the league in the second season. So he fell out with the fans there. He turns really stubborn. And he goes really awkward in the interviews. Like, when he's being interviewed. He just doesn't, like... He just falls out of love with it, and then he comes back to it and thinks he's back in love with it. It's like when do you know what he's like? It's like when you're going out with a girl, right? You love her to bits, to shreds. This girl or boy, depends on sexuality, or depends what gender you are, or trans, or whatever you are. You love this girl, boy, right? You love her to bits, right? You would do anything with her, like you'd marry her, you whatever you want to do with this person. Then you're an idiot because you cheated on her, right? You flipping lose your brain cells and you cheat on her. You're cheating on her, or him, and then you realise to yourself, oh wait, that's the wrong thing to do. That's what it's called, cheating. So I shouldn't be doing that. It's the wrong thing to do. It's not morally correct. And you go back to the girl and you say, I apologise. It's all a mistake. It was all a blur. Blah blah blah. I regret it. And she accepts it, and then, or he accepts it, and you go back to being a partner. You go back to being together, and then it's like a recurring cycle. And then you just, maybe this time you don't cheat on them. You just had enough, and you move on. That's like Jose Mourinho with football and the fans. He loves them at the start, and then he cheats on the actual sport and goes for something else. And then he goes back to the sport of football, which is the case with this one. And then he goes and leaves. So it's all a bit crazy. It's all hectic, personally, I think. And I don't think Mourinho he's a good short-term manager. He's a very good short-term manager. I think he's a bit outdated now. I think his playing style is a bit outdated as well. But he's good for the short term. He'll get Spurs a trophy. I will bet you anything. He'll get them like Europa League or whatever. This season or next season, then he'll get sacked by Spurs. So I hope you've all enjoyed this episode, as that was the last game. Personally, I think they should stick with Mourinho for end of the season. Same with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, same with Arteta, same with Tuchel, etc. Then assess the situation, let the board meet up with each other, have a chat, discuss what the best plan is for the club, what the best plan of action is. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the first episode of the podcast. I personally have loved it. I've had a nice bit of interaction with fans on many topics. A very wise man, this or woman, or whoever you are. You're a very wise man. And yes, you're all right. He will win the Carabao Cup. That's what I was thinking. Or the Europa League. I thought they'll go all the way in that. They'll get like an easy run. They'll go all the way. Which they do have an easy run. So I don't know why I'm saying that, because they already have an easy run. But anyways, if you are new around here, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let me put it back on the thing. Apologies. Like, share, and subscribe. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. We will be back let's have a look. We'll be back with a watch along, actually, funny enough. I haven't done a watch along in absolutely ages, so long. We've got midweek games. We've got Tuesday's games, Wednesday's games, and Thursday's games. So we've got Tuesday, Sheffield host West Brom at 6. Wolves host Arsenal at 6. Man United host Southampton. I think I might stream the Man United game. Maybe. I don't know. I'll think about it. Then we've got Man United Southampton at 8:15. Then we've got Newcastle Palace at 8:15 Wednesday. Then we've got City are travelling to Burnley at 6. Fulham host Leicester. Leeds welcome the Toffees, so Everton. Villa come up against the Hammers at Villa Park. Liverpool are inviting Brighton to Anfield. That's Wednesday's games. And the last game of Thursday is Spurs host Chelsea. I'll probably do a watch along for that. That is brilliant, because Spurs are under so much pressure, and Chelsea, it'll be interesting to see how they go up against a traditional top 6 team. Big up to anyone that's been on the stream, especially the Phantom lad. Brilliant stuff from you. Tuning in. How did you even find out about me? Fair play. I'm not really a big channel, am I? I will do the Spurs Chelsea game. Thank you to everyone that has turned up tonight. You will see my face in the watch along, so I'll get my camera. I've got an external camera that I'm going to use. Honestly, we do unique videos. I might do vlogs. I've got loads of things planned. I've got watch alongs. I've got football videos I'm making. We've got some hot topics, maybe some predictions if anyone's really that interested in that. We've got a lot of things coming up. Spurs Chelsea, probably the biggest game of game week 21, I believe. So, and fantasy content, fantasy Premier League content I've got coming up. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you at the next video, which should be on Thursday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, probably Thursday. But anyways, latest people, it's been a pleasure. It's your boy Marcus, and I'm out of here. Don't know, I've said that's a bit cringy, but I'm out of it. Latest people, absolutely latest. Brilliant, pleasure.